I want to know as well, Jamie, with your individual product reviews, how has your structure of those maybe, or how are you doing them? How have they potentially changed? So I know mine, I'm going like short introduction, straight into the pros and cons. So everything that was down the bottom is down at the top, straight into pros and cons. Uh, if I have a discount code, straight to the discount code, then straight to the call to action, then into the review. How are you doing, I guess, your structure?
We've just built something new into the sites that is like an excerpt that also generates if a non-zero value is in these. So you can have an instant TLDR. There's like a summary of the entire thing. Obsessed with quick and helpful and whatever, at the sacrifice of like people actually reading all the way through. We'll do it for Google. So there's that. Then you have, we still have intros because we haven't gone back and deleted them all. Then you have main Lasso block, and that can contain a lot. For a single product review, I would have a more detailed block, Lasso block, because it's more just focused on that one product and the different aspects of it, and there's probably more detail, rather than in a comparison post where you might have three that, there's less real estate per thing, right? But also it's more of a differentiation between, rather than all eyes on this one product. And then you can get into sort of the different values and that you're comparing it over in different H2s or H3s. But that's how I'm doing single product reviews now with the new sort of auto-generated TLDR. But I haven't filled a lot of stuff in yet. I think it's like a whole process to go through and add them all to everything. Gotcha.
And then sorry, Andrew, you go.
Yeah, I want to tack on to Jamie's TLDR bit with like an analogy. So on YouTube, a lot of people are looking at like audience retention on videos and stuff like that. And YouTube have these chapters built in where you can, skip to a certain part of the video. And the idea, I think initially was like, well, I want you to watch my entire video, akin to I want you to read my entire article. But for Google, like a well-performing video, if you skip to the last chapter and consume it in its entirety, and complete the video, like that's good. That's a good signal. And so in your article, you should be able to skip easily to the part that people want, because as long as they get what they need out of it, you've served the intent. And that's what Google rewards.
No, those are good points to add there. Instead of filling it with fluff, even if, them leaving your page for an affiliate link or to purchase something is or should be a good signal too, right? Because you essentially led them to the sale.
It's the goal of the sale that you make. If you make a best whatever product or a review thing, your goal is to make a sale. Yeah. And I think that's understood in the algorithm now.
Yeah. So how do you do your roundup pages in terms of your structure?
I haven't done any TLDRs yet, but I'll have to think about how that differs here. Like, quick intro that mentions, I'm not sure if I spoke about it on here, but I've spoken about the SPIA way of introducing articles and like quickly imposing yourself as an expert whilst also being likable, and also sort of getting all the building blocks in there that, depending on like how high ticket and how high activation energy the good is, they're ready to go and buy it. You need less for like cheaper goods or like table salt. It's just like it's all the same. Sorry if anyone's a big table salt fan and they're not happy about that one, but it's different to selling someone like an RV, right? You need to do much more building before you stick the CTA in front of them. So that depends on how high ticket the product is.
Okay.
Then we've got the quick introduction that goes in there, and then we'll give the big Lasso graphic, try and get the key differentiation points that would make you allow someone to make a confident value judgment on which they most self-identify with as regarding which segment they are. Clearly statement, like I mentioned, budget pick, premium pick, best for X, best for Y type of person. Then a couple more sentences, then we get to a different roundup block, which has all of the actual options that may not have been included in the top pick blocks. Though we're trying to thin down the amount of products to the smallest possible, just because you want to avoid like decision paralysis. If a product isn't the clear best for a certain type of person, and again, you'll need the niche knowledge to crack which one is if one is the best for like Mac and Linux and one's the best for Windows, you don't need another best for Linux option, because you've got one that is both of those segments. So I think people just try and like have entities in there and whatever, and they go too far and they just confuse people and they lose money from it. So there'll be a roundup block, but again, there's not that many now. I'm trying to get to have like the least possible products, have them all in there. and then you go into each one. Then I think the most important, and it depends how high ticket the product is. If it's a very high ticket product, the buying guide, like things to consider when buying X, goes above the products because they'll just need more activation energy to be ready to buy. But for 95% of the things I do, it'll go underneath where you can sell in it as well, because you can say, if the battery life of a vacuum, I don't know if they're even battery powered, but let's say that like battery life is one of the factors you consider. You'd go through that, explain why it's important, explain what you lose, most importantly, like the pain points if you miss out, and then you can say the one that we've surveyed, which has the longest battery life, is, and then another link, and then you can have another individual Lasso block in there as well. And if you really want to do with the helpful content, you can then write, you can put your article into ChatGPT, paste the whole thing in, and ask ChatGPT to pick the actual battery life of each one that you've put in the actual thing and get it to summarize it as a table and add that in that particular section of the buying guide as well. And then you've got the comparisons and the Lasso block for the best one. And you can do that for each of the things that you compare. And then at the end, right before the FAQs, but after I've done other things, I'll just stick the same top 3 picks for the Lasso block right there again at the end, because it's the last chance to get them in case they were just too lazy to scroll up, but they were ready to make a click. So that's the sort of sandwich of it.